It's that time of year again. Time for baseball fans and concert goers from across Chicago and across the globe to descend on Wrigley Field. Tucked into a residential neighborhood on Chicago's north side, Wrigley has stood on the famed corner of Addison and Clark for more than a century now. The vibrant streets around the stadium provide a great atmosphere before and after games, concerts, and other events. But what makes the neighborhood great can also make it a real challenge for transportation, especially if you want to travel by car. Thankfully, there are several better options, whether you live a mile from Wrigley or 1,000 miles. In this video, I'll share with you every possible mode of transportation for getting to Wrigley, pros and cons of each, and which one I think is best. Let's dig in. First, let me start by confirming that yes, you can drive your own car to Wrigley, or near Wrigley. I just wouldn't recommend it. Remember how I mentioned that Wrigley was over 100 years old? Well, the area in the immediate vicinity is older than that, meaning the entire neighborhood was built before people owned cars. Why does this matter? First off, almost no parking lots. Check out this aerial view of Wrigley. Now compared to Dodger Stadium, built in the 50s. It's a stadium island in a sea of parking. At Wrigley, there's just one modest parking lot of 750 spots. Dodger Stadium has 16,000 spots. At Wrigley, you can try to reserve a spot in that one lot, or a couple smaller parking garages, or you might find a local homeowner willing to rent out a spot in the alley. But it's not just about the difficulty and cost of finding parking, it's about dealing with traffic that intensifies with street closures and thousands of pedestrians seeking one destination. It's also about needing to safely get your car back to your starting point after a couple drinks. And with all the congestion, ride-sharing, limos, they're nearly as bad. There are so many better, more enjoyable options. Let me guide you to one of those. For those who insist on the experience of sitting in traffic on the highway before and after a game, or who live somewhere outside the city where public transportation just isn't practical, there is a slightly better option than driving all the way to the stadium. The Cubs offer a free remote parking lot at 3900 North Rockwell, about 2 miles east of the Kennedy and 2 miles west of the stadium. Shuttles start running a couple hours before the game and continue running an hour after the game. One thing to be aware of is that the lot is accessed off of Irving Park, and the shuttle drops off about 3 blocks north of the stadium. It's a pleasant walk and you'll probably make some new friends, but this could be a challenge for someone with mobility issues. Alright, getting to the good stuff here. For those comfortable ditching the car completely, the CTA offers direct rides from all over the city. The most famous of these is the Red Line, running north from downtown and stopping at the Addison stop right outside the ballpark. The energy here before a game is fantastic. This train runs all night, so it's not a problem if you want to celebrate in Wrigleyville for a while after the game. The next closest train line is the Brown Line, with the Southport stop a few blocks south and west. Like Clark Street, Southport is full of great places to get some food or drinks before or after the game. Even further is the Blue Line for those fans coming from the Northwest or O'Hare. You can't walk from the Addison Blue Line stop, but you can easily catch the 152 bus straight to Wrigley's front door. What about fans in the suburbs, you ask? Well, of course there are plenty of Metro trains for them to use too. Most will want to ride all the way to downtown, then catch the Brown Line north from Quincy or the Red Line north from Jackson, Monroe, or Lake. A few trains from the northern suburbs also have the options of making north-side connections, avoiding the trip all the way to the Loop. For example, if you're riding the Union Pacific North Line, you can get off at Lawrence, then either connect to a Brown or Red Line train, or walk 2 miles down Clark. From the Milwaukee District North Line, get off at Grayland and then take the Irving Park 80 bus. From the Union Pacific Northwest Line, your stop will be Irving Park, and you'll be catching the 80 bus as well, dropping off at the same spot as the remote parking shuttle. That's it for motorized options, but this is point to point. You knew I wasn't going to miss talking about bikes. Plus, it's on the thumbnail. I suppose that technically you could take a bike from just about anywhere in the city. If you're near the lakefront path is the easiest route, making for a relaxing ride almost the entire way. There's an underpass between Roscoe and Aldine that connects to the Roscoe Greenway, which will take you the rest of the way. From the north, you could ride on recently upgraded and now protected bike lanes on Clark. Once you're near the stadium, Wrigley offers an excellent free bike valet service just east of the Addison Red Line stop. Don't feel like bringing your own bike? Well, the Divvy Bike Share program is just as easy, with a staff station at the corner of Sheffield and Waveland. They hold all the extra bikes during the game and have them ready to check out afterwards. It couldn't be easier. You can find other Divvy stations all over the place, if you want to put some distance between you and the post-game chaos. That's got to be all the options, right? Nope, there's one more, and it's a classic. If you're lucky enough to live or be staying anywhere within a couple miles of the park, walking is probably your best choice. The neighborhoods in all directions have plenty of nice tree-lined streets, restaurants, and interesting shopping if you need some diversions along the way. Heck, it could make sense to walk from even further away. If you've got a hotel downtown and it's a nice day, you could conceivably take a meandering, self-guided walking tour through Chicago's North Side neighborhoods. It's only 5 miles from the Loop. Just give yourself a little extra time so you don't miss the opening pitch. So what are you waiting for? Get your tickets and plan your visit to Wrigley Field now. Then come back to check this video when you're ready to plan your transportation. And as you're crossing Clark or Addison or Sheffield to get to the ballpark, think of how great it is that you're swimming in a sea of people, not trudging across a desert wasteland of parking instead. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.